So again, it's trying to find out what is unique. What makes this car special? Some other examples: third row seating, sunroof, GPS, heated seats. Who's anybody disclosing defects? What's the opinion on defects?
We've had really good luck with it. If there's something wrong with it, you take a picture of it, something you can't fix.
Right.
Or it looks like a dent or a ding, it's in a bad spot. Tires. Tires sucks to buy tires right now. So we have the tires are marginal, take a picture of it, say we can negotiate this thing.
I applaud you. I think that's the right approach. I hadn't thought about it from a tire depth perspective, but why not?
I can't get them to buy tires when they recondition them because they don't want, our wholesale guy is always looking at, when we trade a car, he says, I got wholesale this. He doesn't have the mentality we're going to retail it. So we struggle with that. We've had people come in and say, the tires suck. So we just start taking pictures of the trip. Disclosing the description too.
Anybody else? Anybody disclosing or not disclosing? Feel strongly about it? I mean, I firmly believe that you should disclose your defect. If you're not willing to fix it, then you should disclose it because you're going to find out about it sooner or later. And if they feel deceived and show up on your lot and they ask you if there's problems, you say, no, you see all the photos, they look great, and they show up, the trust level really nosedives. And then they start, I worry, I would wonder, what else do I not know? As opposed to if I show them, one or two pictures and say, hey, look, just so you know, there's a little ding right here, and I just want to show you a picture of what that looks like. These are off eBay, where typically on eBay, they're showing you dings. I mean, it's a remote buyer, they don't want to unwind the deal. I think when you show one, I think the consumer says, trust is very high, and that's probably the only ding, because they're not used to that. I think that's pretty upfront. And so, and not forgetting about online reputation, the ability now for consumers or buyers to have huge social networks and to express their opinions or to post and have that dramatically affect your search strategy or your reputation strategy. You want to do right by the customers, whether or not you're going to end up selling the car today or not.
Did you circle this, or were they circled?
Yeah, just so you all would see them and see those.
Okay.
Talk about, yeah, they weren't circled, but I've seen those on eBay too. I've seen a big yellow arrow that say, hey, look, this is the thing I want you to see, just so they're aware. So best practices, photo branding. Anybody branding photos? I'm seeing more and more examples of photo branding out there. I think photo branding is a great way to go. There's still portals out there that somehow come up with inventory, come up with your inventory, and may try to, Brian's, in a lot of cases talking about some of these kind of predatory portals that go out there and grab your inventory, generate traffic, generate leads, and either try to sell that lead to you or try to market their competitors, or to try to market their competitors' inventory to prospects that they used your inventory to find. And by branding your photo, especially by putting contact information on there, email address, phone number, you have peace of mind to know wherever that image goes, I'm covered. I know at least I have a shot at being contacted. It may still come through their lead contact form, and they may try to, puppy dog you into doing business with them, but at least you've got that branding. Not to mention just the name recognition and the repetition that they're seeing your brand, and again, they're up there shopping a lot of different vehicles. You want to kind of burn that in,
What do you?
Go ahead.
To include the logo or the phone number, do you need to do that in each feature, or do you have software that do it for a page?
Yeah, there's software out there, and there's services out there. I mean, most everybody, I think, that's in the inventory business, we do it, other companies do it. You create one look that you like, and then just automatically will burn those in. There may be different options where you can have your used have one kind of branding, and the certified have another kind of branding, and so you can kind of float it around. And those, they're branded on the photo, and they don't change. And a lot of companies, if you decide you want to change it, they still got clean copies of your photos untouched, so they can then just run those back through the machine and put a new logo on there without having to go retake the photos. Does that make sense?
Do you need to have, for instance, in this picture, the white one, it's like everything white, like you need to take your picture like in a white or green background, so then you can do the staging.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that now too as well. It's a little confusing slide because I talk about branding. The other thing that I call it outlining. What do we call it? Clipping. We call it photo clipping. I think the industry is kind of picking that up. Photo clipping is a service where you can sort of cut out the photo, cut out the vehicle in the photo, and then drop in a background or leave it white, drop in a dealer brand. I love that service. It's a great service for dealerships who don't want to stage vehicles. They don't like the idea of moving vehicles around and the hassles involved with that. You're able to cut out all the extraneous other vehicles, distracting things, discolored cement, whatever it is. And you can either drop in backgrounds. We have dealers that want to be on the beach, or they want it to be with mountain ranges behind it, or whatever it is. The photo to the left, actually, that vehicle is not sitting in front of Northwest. It's a drop-in background. So that's a different. So branding is important, but also this clipping type service, I think, is a very slick offering as well. Typically, you got to find a service that's going to do that for you. Like, for instance, we just have folks that we just give hundreds of thousands of photos to, and there's people on computers all day long. They trace those photos and next to trace those photos. Anyway,
What do you recommend on branding? Just the first picture or on all of them?
I think the first picture at a minimum, that's what we see most of our dealers doing. They want to have it on the primary photo, which is typically that front left quarter panel or front left fender. You can do it on all as long as you're not kind of distracting and taking away and making people kind of stick with what you got. You might try to do something maybe more subtle, that you can do on all of them. But I think typically just the first one. But to that Northwest, I would get contact information on there. I think that gives you a little bit more peace of mind, especially numbers that aren't going phone numbers aren't going to change, or email addresses. Sorry.
I was just going to
You drive in front of your signage? Yeah. I think that's a great way to do it. I mean, if you've got an attractive area you're building, I think there's dealers that will paint their logo on the side of the building, or they may paint the building green to be able to drop the background there, out easier under your sign. I think that's great. And I like that. It also keeps that real. It's a very real looking photo. I think there's an argument to be made when you do that people are driving down the road. They're like, your sign. Again, it's kind of a visual tie-in, maybe. Yes.
To those companies you send these photos to that do this clipping and outlining for you, what kind of turnaround times do they have? Because it's something very quick. They take a couple of days.
Yeah, I think it's typically a couple days.
We need 24 hours.
24 hours?
Yeah.
Make things rush to market record. Last when it gets in, we sure we have those pictures available. So I know there's still that process down 24 hours.
Do we typically post the vanilla up there right away, and then click them?
Yeah, and then that replaces it.
Yeah. We'll talk about the idea of real time as well later, but it just goes back to that concept of you're exactly right. I mean, a lot of people talk about, now we're trying to get our turn times shorter. We want to get inventory up right away. I mean, real time is where it's at. I mean, if you're using a third party, you want them to upload either as soon as they leave your lot or very quickly afterwards, and then have that immediately go on your website, immediately go on portals, wherever it is. Did I miss a question? Any other questions on this? Okay, here's staging vehicles, to your point. Here's some examples, maybe not excuse me, done as well as maybe what you've done there, but Integrity Finance, they've got it behind the signs. It's kind of tough to read a little bit, but they've got their URL down there. That's great. Then here's some examples of photo booths. I honestly tried to find some good examples of photo booths, and I wasn't able to. There's probably some great ones out there. If you guys have anybody using photo booths? Studios?
It's our body shop indoor estimating office. We use it at night.
If you have any that you're proud of, I'd love to send them to me just to see as examples, because I think that if I were doing a studio, I think you got to look at it and say, I'm not going to spend a little bit of money, or I'm just not going to do it if I'm going to spend a little bit of money, because these look like garages, and you can see the fluorescent lights. It's just a really distracting look. Now I know you don't have a choice if it's inclement weather and taking an outdoor photo just doesn't work. But I think you got to get something better than that. You got to get light diffusers. You got to get white floors, or somehow deal with the floor color. Get really bright white walls, and get somebody in there once to really set that thing up and make it look nice. But the studio shots, I think you're either gonna do a great job of it, or don't skip.
Yeah, one thing that you do not want white.
What's that?
You do not want white walls or white floor.
Oh, really?
Your camera will hunt like crazy to fix the white balance. If you've got a white car in there,
Okay.
the car will completely wash it out.
What do you guys do? That's the first
Just
time
like a
I've
lighter gray color, just something that's
Oh,
not
okay.
gonna match the color, another car color exactly.
Gotcha.
The white is terrible.
Okay. I don't know, those could be gray. Yeah, I always assumed the ones I'd seen were white, maybe they're just off-white.
And my suggestion on the would be like a darker medium gray to black. And how they look in contrast to it.
All right. Vehicle videos. A lot of folks taking video, or doing some kind of video service. Heard a lot about videos, either in just conversations I've had with dealers asking questions about what they should do. Some offerings out there. This is my opinion. Jim Ziegler, I think, takes the same opinion when he talks about video. But this is not necessarily a gospel. I think other people may make an argument for why they prefer to do it another way. But I don't think you necessarily have to have super high quality video. I think it's more important that you get the video done. And you can use a flip camera or an iPhone or some kind of inexpensive camera. I think there's huge value in kind of keeping it real. I've seen a lot of West Coast dealers on YouTube posting videos of all their cars, and they're definitely keeping it real. They got a salesperson going out there and they're talking. They're not idiots. They're talking about the car and they're doing a walk around the vehicle and they're showing you all the important things. And if I'm a shopper, I'm saying that's interesting. I know the car's there. Sounds like a pretty interesting person who's telling me all about this. I can see all the interesting things they're showing me. Maybe they start the car. I don't know. Maybe they show me how the third row disappears. Maybe they show me interesting options about it. But if you want high quality, if you want to capture a really high quality element of a car, take a photo. It'll be beautiful. It'll be sharp and stunning, and the consumer will be able to zoom on it, and you'll be able to say, "Here's the thing I want to show you." But if it's a video, and the expense that you'll go to create a high quality studio type video for a used car, I'm not sure there's any ROI in that. The way I look at it is that we're all familiar with Evox. Right? So Evox does a great job on new photos, new vehicle photos. And if Evox spends $10,000 on one model for a year, taking imagery of that, it'll get thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on that one imagery that they've created. However, you and your dealership taking a video of an individual car, you may get anywhere from 1, 5, 100. So when you look at the number of impressions you're going to get for the expense you made, I think you got to be careful with video to not overspend it. And I think some of these, especially these flips out of business, unfortunately. Who owned them? Cisco, excuse me. I wish they'd never bought it. I love the flip camera. I wish they didn't understand it. They want to do routers. But that's a great camera. They had a Minio camera, I think for $200. It's HD. I took it to Kings Island with my family this past spring. And, every single ride, I took it with me. Waterproof, fantastic. Great quality. You put it on TV, you'd be shocked. Anyway, talking too much about video cameras. When I think about video cameras, I think about what do they do other than an image? They add sound and motion. So creatively, what can I do with that vehicle that incorporates sound and motion? So sound, talking through the walk around the vehicle, maybe starting the vehicle, showing any kind of action around it. And that's where the motion obviously comes in. Talked about this, don't break the bank. Pan and scan versus real video. So when I say pan and scan, that's the Unity Works, the sister technology. Dealer specialists have got a pan and scan they've had for years, the Vivo product. Still a very viable product, but I think the demand I'm hearing from dealers, they want to be a little bit more sophisticated. I think the consumers have started to kind of figure out that pan and scan video is just going through the images. And it's great to have the narrative, it's great to have the background voice and the branding. I still think that that's a great offering. But I think that dealers should start to experiment with real video. Maybe do some of the cars and then eventually do more of the cars so they see the results increase. Again, it takes a little bit more work. You gotta come up with a script. You gotta see who's gonna vocalize that, what you're gonna take the imagery of. You gotta have a good strategy where you're gonna distribute it. You know, YouTube, what was talked about in an earlier session, I think in Brian's search session, as having great SEO value. So, you know, videos are definitely an opportunity, but I think if you're gonna take advantage of that opportunity, real video feels like a better route. Agreements, disagreements, who's doing Panascan or sister community videos? Anybody capturing real videos themselves of their vehicles, or some of their vehicles? Any other vehicles?
We do walkarounds for customers through email. So, I mean, if we get, say, like an internet lead on a specific unit, if it's a rare unit, I mean, it's not like a 2011 model, whatever they know. And we'll go out and do a salesperson will go out and do a walk around on the car and email that over.
Nice.
So, and we put it on our YouTube channel, so it kind of organically searches.
Do they do that personalized for that person? Do they say, hey, Jim, this is George, I'm just, as you asked, I'm kind of showing you some information about the car?
Yeah.
That's great. How long is it? 30 seconds, a minute?
Minute to a minute and a half, depending on the car. I mean, like you said, if you're to show how third row works or something like that, I mean, obviously that car's going to take a little bit longer, but minute and a half.
And do you get, is it real sophisticated, the scripting? You just say, knock it
No,
out.
it's a really simple walk around.
That's great. That's great. Have you seen results from it? Do you say that increases engagement, conversion?
I think it increases engagement a lot, because I mean, we send it with an email, with a normal email, and then, click here to see a video of the car type deal. And the engagement back and the amount of emails that you're getting back from the consumer as opposed to just shooting an email is much higher. We started doing that and sending video emails to our salespeople on initial responses. So we use video not only on vehicles, but also on salespeople.
The personalized effect has got to be huge. I mean, I'm used to getting a reply, an autoresponder, maybe another reply in some cases. I think everyone's getting better at that, but to get a personalized email back, I mean, your competition is typically probably not doing that, so what a great way to kind of stand out. But again, I think that builds value not only in the vehicle, but in the whole in the dealership experience. You're nodding your head back there a lot. Do you do video, or do you guys do anything with live video?
I had is that we're a vendor, but I spent a lot of time doing field consulting and working with dealerships on video products. And first of all, the homemade ones are the best ones.
Okay.
As opposed to the polished ones, they get more views, they get more traffic, and they also get a lot more time on the site, and they also convert better. And it's as simple as handing the vehicle description page, like a lot of the window stickers,
Right.
and just give it to the salesperson, someone who actually can put two words together and sound right,
Sure.
and have them do the walk-arounds on specific vehicles, and it works. Not all of them, but some of them. Particularly if it's something that is a high-interest vehicle or something that would require a presentation, like a 99,000 mile Accord that is $5,000 car, you would do that, but that's the car you want to do that with. Or an S-Line Audi that is $15,000 more than an A-Line, but there's a lot of reasons for that. So I'm nodding because I agree with it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sorry, say that again. Yes.
Actually, in all transparency, we are a vendor as well, and we focus very heavily on vehicle merchandising. And we've conducted a bunch of studies where we were in the other room, sort of videotaping car shoppers, seeing how they behave. And what we're finding is disproportionately, people think that stitched together video, they kind of think that's commercial. It's almost like a TV commercial, and so they almost can't close it quickly enough. Where then the reason that the feedback they typically give us is they thought this was going to be someone actually doing a walk around of this car. And I think what you're doing is really spot on.
Yeah.
The other thing we've been finding basically through data crunching is, and again, this is really when I say that the car comes off the dealer's inventory from their website,
Right.
we're just assuming that car was sold. And there's some inaccuracy there, but we're finding there that a properly merchandised vehicle, whether it be data or video or whatnot, it has between a 25 and 30%. It has a faster, basically it comes off the website that much faster. So I think the reason we think you're spot on here, and you're so spot on, I think, is because I think the data is going to bear in short order that people are looking for those options, third row seating, and all that.
It's easier to stitch something together than it is to do the walk around, but I think that the additional effort's worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.